Good evening, guys. Welcome to the program. Just allow me a few seconds to set up the screen. Welcome to the program. Sorry for the inconvenience caused. There was some delay technical issue. Now let us start the program. Today we are going to see some of the important tools which we can use in supply chain analytics. In fact, many of our previous program, we have seen various advanced tool like Python, SQL, how you can use in supply chain analytics. Today, we will start with some basic tool. Of course, when you go to higher level of tools, you should have some basic knowledge on the entry level tools. Of course, there Excel serves as a basic tool for any analytical purpose. Now the expectation from him is that you are supposed to know some analytical skill. To start with, the Excel will serve many purpose. Of course, here you need to know there are some add-on tools which is available in Excel, which has to be integrated in your Excel so that you can do some basic analytical function. You also should need some statistics knowledge to do some analytics. In this session, we are going to see some of the applications where we used in our analysis. Before starting the program, let me introduce myself briefly. This is my profile. My name is Pattabhi Raman, and as far as my background is concerned, I am an engineer with a management degree as well as data science postgraduate diploma. I have nearly 2.5 decades experience working in this large organization. I have been predominantly in supply chain domain. Last 4 years, I have been heading the organization called Thoughtware Training Private Limited. Coming to my certification, these are from APEX ASEM, globally recognized certification. Next one is from Demand Driven Institute, similar to APEX. I am also a certified purchasing manager and a project management professional, apart from qualified on analytics domain. As far as our organization is concerned, we are based in Bangalore. I am heading the organization. We provide both consulting and training in the field of supply chain, logistics, and analytics applied to the supply chain domain. Coming to the analytics portion, before entering the analytics, you should know what are the real challenges in the supply chain domain. Because when you want to apply any analytical tool, first you should know the business requirement. After all, you are going to spend your time and the effort in finding a solution, but it should address some of the business problem. For supply chain, we can look that in terms of the challenges available in supply chain domain. If you take the serious challenges, the number one could be stock out or back order. Possibly you are not delivering the item to your customer on time, and many of the organization may have a huge inventory, but there are also many stock out. Even by having huge inventory, you are not able to provide better service to customer. That's what is the result: poor delivery performance, high cost of supply chain operations, poor forecast. There are a lot of tools may be available, but still the forecasting error could be very low. Unable to recover in huge ERP investment. We were seeing yesterday about a brief introduction about ERP. In fact, this requires a huge amount of investment, which, if not properly used, you may not get the returns to the expected level. Non-availability of skilled workmen in logistic and warehousing. Specifically, people are not trained. Colleges doesn't provide a proper training on the domain. Whatever is provided in some colleges as MBA, it's all very superficial training. Of course, in India, we don't have proper institute to provide supply chain training. Also, we have challenge that people, youngster, especially millennial, doesn't want to work as a driver or even for that matter in the warehouse. So these are the few challenges. So, certain things we can solve by using analytical tools. Certain things, there should be some initiative from organization or at a government level, especially when you say the truck drivers scarcity. They have to address the situation because many are linked with the government initiatives also. But we'll see mainly in terms of supply chain, we are trying to address 3 or 4 issues in terms of improving the inventory forecast. Second could be the inventory optimization. In the logistic, we talk in terms of route or load optimization. So we have to see how we can use the tools to address this issue. Of course, why analytics is required. Earlier version we were using Six Sigma. There, that was totally dependent on data. We were able to do some basic analysis and come out with a reason why it has happened, but it was not going to the next stage in terms of prediction and prescription. So that's where its use is being limited, and more or less analyticals is trying to replace the Six Sigma domain. Okay. Why analytics is required is your business decision should be based on empirical data. Analytics always promotes accuracy, consistency, and broader view of effects of businesses. Analytics always bias free and credible. The numbers require little translation, they speak for themselves. I hope the participants are able to hear me and also able to see the screen. If you have any questions, you can always type in the LinkedIn comments. I am able to access LinkedIn comments and respond to you. The ability to gain insight into the information can make huge difference in everything you do, and from the experience you deliver to the customer to the efficiency of business operations. You may see there are different levels of analytics being used. You can see the level of human intervention decreases as you go to the advanced method. Possibly we are still stuck with the lower level. If you are using primitive tools like Excel, can be taken as a starting level tool, but many of the people, they use it as a notepad or workpad, simply for putting some tables and adding, sorting, or similar operation that will not the intention for Excel. There are a lot of function which can be used from Excel. Possibly if you use it to a full extent, we can even go to the second level of analytics. Okay. As far as tools used in analytics is concerned, basic Excel can serve majority of the purpose. In the sense, if you are using advanced Excel, not the basic Excel, there are a lot of tools which we are going to see in this session. With those are all add-on tools to the basic Excel. Of course, you are not going to pay anything extra to install the tool. Apart from that, there are some standard features like macros and Visual Basic, which if you are able to use, it becomes very easy when you go to the next level. This serves as a foundation to know about the next step. Okay, so this is a basic tool. Coming next is SQL. And of course, you don't need not get afraid, because this seems to be some software language. But I am a supply chain executive. No, now the barriers have gone, and the gap between the software people or people who are knowing this type of languages is coming down. Okay, it's as good as using one more tool like Excel. You can see SQL or any other analytical tool for that matter, or is one of the leading analytical tools apart from Python. In fact, in our programs, we use Python to demonstrate various analytical capability in terms of machine learning. But in any case, you can see there are so many software available in the market, either for doing basic analytical work or machine learning or visualization. You will see hundreds of software available in the market. But in any case, if you want to go to the second step, please start with the first step. That's where you need to learn advanced Excel. Before that, you should know how much data Excel can handle. That's important. And you should know the difference between the normal or small data and the big data. Any of the participants, do you have any idea what does the big data means? Can we handle it in Excel? Or how do you distinguish between small and big data? You can always type in the LinkedIn comments. How do you distinguish, or when you call the data as a big data? Can Excel handle big data? You can always type in the LinkedIn comment. That way we can have a lively debate. If you have some knowledge about these data, you can always give some input. Can you please type in the LinkedIn comment? What do you understand by the big data? How you can differentiate? Virendra Nigam says number of rows and columns are limited. Navin Singh says no. By the way, anyone knows how many rows and columns are there in Excel? Do you know how many columns and rows are there in Excel? I don't need a precise number. You can roughly say how many rows and columns are there. Can anyone tell? Of course, it is easy to see the number of rows in Excel if you open a spreadsheet, but the columns is a question mark. Anyone has a knowledge? Maybe if you Google up, you will get an answer. How many rows and columns are there in Excel? You can type your comment in the LinkedIn. Virendra, correct. 10 lakh rows roughly. And how many columns are there in Excel? Anyone else? Do you? Of course, we are using Excel on day-to-day basis. Unfortunately, we don't use it for the required purpose. I feel I have seen in my earlier organization, including me, we were using as a notepad, just putting some tables, addition, subtraction, and then possibly doing some coloring and some basic uh, graphics. Sandeep says 16,000 columns, but it is around roughly 10,000 columns. And also, you don't have a limitation on number of sheets. So physically, you can dump how much our data required in the Excel. But you know what happens when you have use a huge data? It simply hangs. It cannot answer to your any of the calculation. That's where you should understand what is a normal data and what is a big data. Sridharan says around 60,000. No, it is roughly around 10,000 and odd. But let us not worry about the precise figure. Now, coming back to big data, how do you distinguish? Do you have any idea when you can call certain things as a big data and how to handle normal data and big data? You can keep typing. Meanwhile, I will progress. Something where you have a data size of less than 10 GB can be called as small. Okay, for example, it will fit in one machine's memory. Machine means you're talking about desktop or laptop. Example could be thousands of purchase order data. You can of course very well manage with the Excel. But here, once again, you have to keep in mind, if you are going to load Excel with 10 GB data, it's going to be definitely down. Though there is a possibility of opening, closing, all that is okay. But if you are trying to extract some data or do some operation, Excel will simply hang. But this information is available to you just for your understanding. Possibly, SQL is a better tool to handle such a data. I have seen what is reasonable is to use Excel could be a size less than 100 MB and possibly less than 10,000 records. You are in safe hand. But I have seen many people using full sheets with the multiple sheets with using formula linking from one sheet to other sheet. This is where a lot of problem happens. If you are using a simple single sheet less than 10,000 records with simple formula, it is fine. Apart from that, if you are using some advanced tools in Excel, it's good. But anything behind that, please avoid using Excel. But we will see what are the application in which you can also start using Excel. You can see here what is big data. Possibly here we are talking about more than 1 TB. If we have a file, an example could be billions of web clicks, and it cannot be stored in one single machine. That's where you need a network of computers. Possibly all the people can use the shared network to discuss and develop. This is where Hadoop type of software can be used. But let us come back to our Excel now. Why Excel is, though there are advanced tool is available, Excel is something when you are practicing, when you want to drive a motorcycle. Possibly first, if you learn to drive a bicycle, try to manage the road condition and have some balance, then it always becomes easier to drive a motorcycle. Okay, similar way in Excel, if you are able to do certain things, everything is more or less visible in Excel. If you are committing some mistake, you may be able to visualize those such things, as long as the file is within a limited condition. But if the file is big, it could be different. But you can see, if you are using possibly some of the basic conditions like pivot table. Visual Basic also many people use, but it is not exactly used in analytics. Okay, of course macros will definitely help. Sort, filtering, formatting, charts, all these are basic things. Okay, Excel, if you are using only so many things, you can even say that contributes to 10% or 5% of Excel functions. Let me put my charger to the mobile. You are always welcome to interact in the LinkedIn medium. I am able to see them. Possibly you can see when you press the formula tab, you have lot of important functions under that. You can see financial, logical, and also if you want to trace if some error, you can do some audit trials by tracing precedent. And there are many options available in formulas. Coming next, if you go to the data, this is where we are very much interested. Some tools are visible already. For example, you can see what if analysis. Forecast sheet is a standard feature in most of the recent version, but there are certain things which you need to add on. For example, at the extreme end, you can see data analysis and solver tool, which you need to add. Of course, you don't need a license to add this tool. It are available in the software. Also, when you go to developer portion tab, you can see Visual Basic and macros are available. Apart from, there are many other options. There are simple ways to activate the add-on tool. Maybe you can Google up and find out add how to add this data analysis and solver tool. maybe if you click the data analysis tool, you will see some of the statistical tools which forms the basics for any analytics or analysis when you are using some statistical method. For example, ANOVA, correlation, covariance, descriptive, histogram, even some simple forecasting method. For example, you can see moving average, regression, all these things can be done using this data analysis tool. Of course, in the previous slide, we have seen something called what if analysis. If you click that, you are going to get something important called scenario manager, goal seek, data table, apart from forecast sheet. You can make a simple forecast using this forecast sheet. Okay, of course, you will not get direct help from Microsoft, because I don't know why, I'm not clear why they have not given any help manual and examples how to use each of this tool. But there are third parties available who are explaining each of this tool. But being a supply chain professional, you can also work out by using this tool. They are very important tool. Okay. A solver we have used mainly in optimization projects. In fact, that is of much higher level. Many of the other advanced software also uses this solver option. Okay. I'm going to show you some of the samples which we are working out in our programs. For example, in Excel, you can work out rank and percentile if you have a data. You can also do regression analysis. You will get some summary output like this. If you give a data, maybe in few seconds you are able to get this type of a data. You can also find out covariance, correlation by using the data. Descriptive statistics, where you get mean, mode, possibly range, sum, count, all these are possible. If you know some basic statistical knowledge, there are some test hypothesis tests we have to do before we take up some of the models. Okay, so these tests also can be conducted in Excel. Okay, chi-squared test is also possible by using Excel. ANOVA, of course, you have seen in the previous table, even this is possible by using Excel. You can always explore each one of this, even if you want to learn free of cost. You can Google up, or in the YouTube, you will have each of this character explained with the example along with the templates. Of course, if you need a continuous learning with some meaningful templates, then you have to enroll for some of our programs. Okay, even you can do Monte Carlo simulation using Excel. Possibly you need to check in formula under calculation options. There is some facility available. Otherwise, there are some service providers who can provide this type of a tool. I have seen even add-on, which is a paid thing used for Arima forecasting. Many of the organization uses Arima method for forecasting. Those things you can always do it in Excel. Okay. Of course, what is more important for analytical angle? In fact, we use many times the solver. Of course, many of you may be knowing, if you use a forecasting method called winter and Olds method. There we use a alpha, beta, gamma, which are smoothing constant, which takes care of level, trend, and season in any given data. So this three things constant can take any value between 0 to 1. But if you need to fix this value, you need to keep changing different values so that you can get a lower forecast error. But that is very difficult and laborious if you want to do manually. That's where you can use solver. Okay, you can see a window like this appearing when you use the solver, where you can set the objective, either maximization of profit or minimization of some cost, subject to certain conditions. There are different ways of using this tool. And this is a really a wonderful tool. Even some sophisticated software use this solver tool, and they provide the solution. Any questions, anyone, you can always type in your comment so that I can respond to your question. Of course, the limitation in Excel is if you are having more number of records, though you are able to open the file by chance, you will be able to handle. But if you are doing frequent calculation and linking so many other things, then you are bound to fail. Okay, you can use this Excel as a stepping stone for moving ahead, for learning other languages, because whatever statistical tool you see in the data analysis tool is more or less similar. Where even when you use advanced analytical tool, they are serve as a fundamental tools. You will also see there are, if you use multiple sheets with the formula linking, I have seen many people, especially in the finance guys, they use Excel. Maybe they are having sophisticated ERP, but they don't want to use that. Even in the supply chain, I have seen many people with the ERP available go and ask them what is the stock available for a particular SKU. They will open Excel and show you. Maybe it is like a life for many of the people, but they have to understand it has its own limitation. You can use it definitely for basic requirement for learning purpose. Once that is over, you have to move to the next level. Now coming to the employers expectation, they want you to know as many as analytical tools possible, especially in the application angle. Okay, knowing only the tool is not sufficient. When given data, you should be able to do a forecasting with lower error, or do some inventory optimization, all that possible. In this aspect, we do lot of training program, especially our popular program in supply chain analytics. Okay, of course, the advanced Excel is also one of our part, where we do solve many of the problems in Excel before going to the advanced tool. Okay, any doubts or clarification? I am available online for few more minutes. If any doubts, clarification, I will be able to reply to you. There are so many LinkedIn live participants which I can see. If you have any question, you are always welcome to type in the comments. Yes, please. Any doubts, questions on? I am trying to do such a brief session on every week day basis. Possible if you need some topic to be discussed, you can always provide me the topic so that we can discuss. Any doubts, clarification, comments? Do you like the program? Is it interesting? Is it informative? You are always welcome to reach to us. You have the WhatsApp number of our executives. I am also available for any assistance in terms of any career guidance, or possibly any certification programs like PICS or something related to that. I'll be able to guide you. So, if there are no further questions, we will conclude the program. Thanks for participating. Have a nice evening. Bye.